Hello there, and welcome to the Rogue Podcast, a Star Wars show. I'm pretty excited about today's episode. We've got myself, CJ, David. We're going to be talking about Mando Season 3, Episode 2, also known as Chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore, and I was pleasantly surprised. We'll also be getting into the Bad Batch episode. Are we on 10 now?
I have no idea.
I don't know what we're on. Season 2.
I stopped counting
also,
after like 6.
Like I'm 12 or 13.
Oh, wow, that far, huh? Also been
Wow.
a surprisingly good episode. But if you could, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help out quite a bit. Comment, ask us questions throughout the show, and we hope you enjoy. So without any further ado, let's go. So, I guess the main thing I kind of want to talk about is how we kind of ranted and raved, at least I know I did, for a good few minutes about how this season was going to take forever to get into it, how we probably weren't going to actually be on Mandalore for a few episodes, and they're going to be going through this whole quest of finding the memory processor and whatnot. And then we were wrong. I could not have ever been happier to be wrong.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that like somebody must have saw it early and was like, by the way, guys, episode 2 isn't bad, even though episode 1's kind of a rough one.
Yeah, I think they did like a red carpet premiere or whatever, and they released the first 2 episodes. So, yeah. But yeah, man, I was just very good.
Okay.
I was so grateful that we went straight to Mandalore. I mean, pretty much straight to Mandalore.
Yeah.
Which did beg the question for me, why was episode 1 necessary? Outside of, recapping. But even like the stuff going to Navarro and getting the memory processor thing for IG-11. But then he didn't actually do it. He just went and got
An astromech.
An astromech. And then
A chicken astromech. And though, here's the thing. In Star Wars, you can wipe a droid's memory, so it isn't like stupid like that.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you wipe the droid's memory?
It's got a bad motivator.
No, well, that's like a personality
you
thing.
mean for IG-88 or IG-11?
No, for the astromech.
What do you mean? No, it's his motivator. Like, that's what the whole problem was with, like, Luke. And that's why
you could put a restraining bolt on it.
That's why he's not motivated to listen.
You could put a restraining bolt on it to fix that. I don't know why this is, like, new.
I guess that's
what restraining bolts do
to me, though. Like, Luke is it's got a bad motivator way back in episode 4. And now the droid is, like, not motivated in our sense of motivated to do anything. So I just thought it was kind of a funny play on words. They didn't come out and say it's got a bad motivator, but they showed that. Yeah. So I thought it was funny. But, like, unless IG-11 is going to come back into the show later, which I imagine he will, why wouldn't he have... I don't know. I just feel like that was, like, a waste of time. He could have just went and got an astromech. Also, if he can pressurize his helmet, couldn't he have, like, tested that himself? Picked up, like, a sample thing and tested the air sample? If he can...
That's a good question.
If he can just pressurize his helmet and get outside of the ship, and then just, like, walk down there and see with some kind of tool that would be able to test it, I feel like that'd be a lot easier than going through the process of hunting across the galaxy for a memory core for a assassin droid.
Well, he probably doesn't have that much, like, oxygen in there.
He was out there for a good while. I mean, he pressurized his helmet, went and fought those things, and then came back.
Yeah, so maybe, like, what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah, he also went to where the droid went, so he didn't go any farther.
So he could have at least did what the droid did. And then he just stood outside while the droid did it. Fair. So, I don't know. Also fair. Yeah. I feel like it would have been easier to get some kind of device that would just test the air. And apparently if he tests the air quality in that one area, it's good for the whole planet, too.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
It's not like different pockets of, like, radiation and stuff could be.
Yeah, or, like, just sulfur. Just, like, like nauseous sulfur gas just floating around.
The whole planet's good. Cause that
or just, like, CO2, just, like,
I don't mean to rip on this episode. It was really good. In my opinion.
we just like to rip on things. Honestly.
We do. It's kind of our thing. I mean, that was probably my only nitpick of the whole episode, though. It was really good. Yeah. From right off the beginning, there was some cool stuff that happened. We see that as he goes to Tatooine, it's the it's the week of Boonta Eve, which, as we all know, is
it's like a big old like parade thing over there.
Yeah, it's like a big festival, and that is the race that Anakin raced in the pod racing, and it was the Boonta Eve pod race. So it's the same time of year, so it's like the anniversary of when Anakin had done this. And then Pelimoto was scamming that Rodian. I thought that was funny. I mean, she's not my most favorite character, but I thought that was comical.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
There were a lot of things that were
classic Tatooine
in that scene. I'm trying to think of talking about chance cubes. It said instead of saying no dice, she says no chance cubes.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was funny. What else was there? There were things
I probably just like barely recalled that.
Talked about R4 serving in the rebellion. Apparently, I feel like there was one other thing that happened in the beginning.
Was that a thing?
Not that I remember. Or R5.
Rebellion.
R5 is his name.
He's a rebel.
I don't remember. But Grogu jumping out of the ship, I mean, the dude's... He's definitely trained in the Force. I mean, we see that throughout this episode. Like, he is much stronger. What you shaking your head for, CJ?
Just every time Grogu moves, man, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
In not a flattering way.
No, it does not look right.
They're just like...
It looks like they just chucked a puppet. Yeah.
Like, literally, someone goes in a green suit, they grab him and go, yeah! It is funny. I think the same thing. Yeah, they have not mastered that.
It's funny.
It is weird, though, because, like, they did it fine with Yoda, you know?
Well, it's because they, like, animated his face, I feel like. And then they animated enough of it to where it didn't take you out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly, I feel like the prequels animated him completely.
All of Yoda was animated in the prequels.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
I mean, in Phantom Menace, originally, he was a puppet, but when they redid it, they made it all CGI.
Like, honestly, I don't hate them changing. I don't hate them making a change.
No, me neither.
And going to CGI, because it'll just allow them to do more with the character.
Oh, you mean with Grogu going forward?
Yeah, as he ages just a little bit, like, I mean, they've already done some time skips that apparently
they spent like $3,000 on this puppet, or probably more than $3,000. This puppet's expensive. Oh yeah, it's expensive.
Why?
Because it's got all these animatronic parts in it. Like, it actually walks and stuff.
Oh, it walks, dude. That's cool.
Yeah, it does all that. It's pretty much a remote control Grogu.
But like,
it moves its eyes on its own.
It just doesn't like jump or like.
No, it doesn't jump or use the Force, David.
And it's like you can't just like go back and forth like animating him and not animating. Like, it's just gonna take you out of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've got like a dude with a stick. You know what I mean? How they.
Yeah.
And they go
or just like he's just like on wires and a stick.
It looks like it, man.
Yeah, my guess is they've got one of these and they've got like a stick in the back and just some dude goes. I mean, this is literally what it looks like.
Well, I bet it's like a puppet. I bet it's like the dude has like 3 or 4 like points that he's connected to, and he's just like, woo. No, dude is flying a kite. He's flying a kite.
I'm cracking myself up right now because of how much it looks like.
Yeah.
How much it looks like freaking like Grogu. Anyways, so there's that. But that was funny. But anyways, let's move on, okay? Because I don't want to be here all night.
Nope.
You got another one? Oh, it's a mug. Nice.
Yep.
A
lightsaber.
So he goes to Mandalore, and right away, something that he points out is that he had never been to Mandalore ever before, even though he grew up on Concordia, which we know is the moon on Mandalore, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also points out that Bo-Katan's in the same system. So, like, I saw some people on YouTube and Twitter and stuff, like, weird that he would send Grogu back to Bo-Katan instead of, like, Boba Fett, who's, like, his actual friend or something. Like, what do you mean weird? He says in the episode that she's in the same system, so it's be a much shorter trip. So, people, I don't know, people just don't pay attention or something. Because, like, I even saw YouTubers like Star Wars Theory, saying stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was saying that?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, to be honest, like I've said before, I definitely know a lot. I feel like I know a lot more about Star Wars than he does.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. Like he'll know like, oh, this was filmed this way because he got to interview like this guy that actually like worked on the movie.
Yeah.
But actual like lore stuff like goes over his head or he just like says the wrong thing.
I think
sometimes.
I think part of it is he's read and done so much with it.
Yeah, he probably gets stuff confused.
That he
I'm
just
sure.
gets things mixed up and forgets stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like it happened in the episode, so it's not like you knew more just because he missed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's also got 40,000 people doing live streams with him, so
yeah, exactly.
I
mean, he's
distracted.
busy.
Yeah. I'm not a Star Wars theory simp like John is, but
John just likes his YouTube videos, man.
he loves Star Wars theory.
He likes his podcast.
I like that podcast too. I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I like it too.
It's so long though, dude. It's like 4
hours.
I'm like,
well,
there's no way.
Yeah.
So
I can't do that anymore. Can't focus like that.
We can get back into the show. But as he flies into Mandalore, you can kind of tell like it doesn't look as bad as I was expecting. You know what I mean?
It looks more like a Kessel and not like a Malachor 5 like I was expecting.
Right, yeah. But he gets there, though, and is able to go into the mines, fights off those Alamites, I think is what they were called. So I think there's like a native species on Mandalore.
Yeah, they were like out into the jungle, and they were far away, and then now they're not far away.
Yeah, he said they stayed on like the outskirts.
They're like bears.
Town. Yeah, they're like bears. Hi, Dawson. How you doing, man? But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, the first time I watched it, I could not see that fight scene. Like I went around my house, turned off all the lights, and watched it, and I could not really see anything. I watched it again today on my computer screen, and it looked just fine. So like the darkness or the brightness, I should say, really was an issue for me the first time.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't that great when I was
second time around,
dude,
it looked fantastic on my computer monitor. So I don't know, maybe if you had issues seeing it, because like you could see their faces and like the muscles on their body and stuff, and
maybe
the whole
the contrast is kind of wild.
Something was off on my TV, but it looked great on my PC. But that fight scene though, I was a little. How do you guys feel about Mando fighting compared to anyone else in the show fighting?
Very like bland and like
we've talked about it before. CJ, I can tell you're about to say something.
Yeah, go for it, CJ.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's not very good.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of made by his armor because he can't get shot.
Yeah, like
yeah,
his armor's the only reason he's alive.
He takes a lot of shots.
Anytime he fights, it is a huge struggle. Unless he's got his whistling birds. You know what I mean?
Do you think they just like intentionally just do that so that it doesn't seem like he's just too OP?
Maybe they don't want to make him too OP, but then
because they do that with Boba Fett,
and just absolutely shreds. Shreds.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to show that like he doesn't know how to
use the Darksaber, and she uses the Darksaber like it's nothing. That she's been like doing it yesterday.
She had the Darksaber for a long time.
Yeah, she's used it before.
Well, yeah, but like how long?
A long time. She had it from
like 8 years.
From the point that they took, from the point that they killed Darth Maul, she took it, and then it was also given to her in Rebels as well later on.
So she lost it. Well, that's right. We already said this.
Sabine gave it to her. Remember?
Boba.
So it's been like 10 years probably.
Yeah, so it's been like 10. That's a long time, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe not exactly 10 years because it was shortly after the whole thing in Rebels that what's his name, Moff Gideon destroyed Mandalore and took the Darksaber.
But Rebels was before
the
New Hope.
Yeah. So there was some good time in there.
Yeah, so that was 3 years between those movies.
So she's trained with it, and you can see that she knows how to use that weapon. So
about 10 years. Yeah.
I did enjoy watching that.
Yeah, she was cool.
Hopefully, yeah, she was sick. Hopefully, we'll get to see Mando at that level someday because I feel like a lot of the time in this show he gets upstaged by the people in it. Like the episode that Boba Fett showed up in Mando, he was amazing, And Mando's running around without his jetpack,
even have armor.
chasing people over mountainsides, not doing anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm wondering, like, like, he has the dark saber. Are they gonna tease at all that he's gonna be like a Jedi? Is that like even in the realm of possibility anymore? Do you guys think?
I hope not. I seriously hope not.
I don't know. Like,
I feel if it was, we would have seen some kind of connection in the Force, either with Ahsoka or Grogu.
Yeah. I want him to do something more. I want him to expand his character more, I guess.
Mm-hmm. John is watching the show. He's commenting on Facebook right now.
What's he saying?
Yeah, I agree, John. He says he's manifested no connection to the Force. Like, especially at this stage in life, there's just no way that he has.
Yeah, like, we haven't...
The dude's like 50 plus.
We haven't been shown it, but they do that a lot in Disney, where they'll just, like, insert...
Anyone can have the Force. Yeah.
Yeah.
I seriously hope not. I don't think it makes sense. I think his character is a Mandalorian.
Like, the Emperor's still here.
Yeah. No, I'd be upset by that personally. I think his character works as is, but we need to see him be the star of his own show. Siege?
Oh, no. I wasn't going to say anything. I was just shaking my head at Dave's comment.
So we had a little bit of a Grogu adventure today.
That we did?
I should say. How'd you feel about that? That was kind of fun.
I'm going to be honest. Grogu's intelligence
confuses
me.
Yeah,
I can't tell if he's a baby or if he's, like, competent. Like, I don't know. He, like, can't
absolute
talk. He, like,
Forrest Gump.
Wowed by marbles and always tries to eat. But he can also navigate a starship to go get help and, like...
Yeah.
Respond to danger.
He kind of, it is weird.
Very bipolar.
To be fair, he really just pointed at a planet and the droid took it there.
I know.
Even that, there's a big gap between that and being fascinated by marbles.
Yeah, it is weird.
I mean, like, most kids aren't going to have an attention span to actually, like, focus on anything.
Yeah, I think the point of it is...
So, I don't know. I think they're trying to develop it. It's just jarring how it's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The point of it is they want him to continue to be cute.
Yeah. To sell merchandise.
And the day that he
matures
Disney into a kid or a teenager that speaks, he'll stop being cute.
Why do they do this to us?
It is weird.
It's all about the merch.
Yeah, it is all about the merch, but I hope that they will let the character develop. I mean, he could still be fun if he starts talking and stuff. Like David, I know you said, when is this kid thing going to start talking? He's 55-ish years old at this point.
I'm going to be 55 before he starts talking. Like,
John says he stretches his mental capacity to the need of the moment. Like when someone has to be a leader, they step up. Yeah, it's like
so
when...
it depends on the writing.
When Mando needs to be a good fighter, he is. But when we need some extra tension, he sucks. So...
Yeah. You're saying the writing is a little wishy-washy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we are ever going to pretend this is the best written show of all time, but it's fun.
No. Yeah.
No, it is good. That was, like, the worst part for me, though.
Yeah.
That, and then him being thrown into the cockpit of that plane, like, all at once was like, what's going on here?
And let's talk about how he got his floating thing back when
I think
he
that's
jumped
cool.
in. Makes zero sense at all. He jumps into the plane, he flies off, and the chair is somehow with him when he gets there.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That doesn't make any sense.
Zero sense at all.
Well,
I was like, what, does this have like a towing cable? Like through space? through hyperspace?
Okay, so not necessarily. You think about it. He jumps out of his little pod into the N1. He goes and hops in with Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan and them come back. He gets back in the pod and goes to Bo.
I'm pretty sure he had it before, like...
No, he never got out of the ship. He just talks to Bo-Katan on the planet.
Yeah.
Okay, either way, wasn't... Yeah,
It's
either
possible.
way. I don't know, man.
I mean, they went back to the same spot, so... Yeah, he never left.
Yeah.
So...
I don't know. I didn't notice that,
But yes, there are some weird things about that, but I guess we can just connect the dots there. But anyways, so what was that thing that captured Mando?
I have no idea. I was real confused by that too. Not in
It's
like a
kind of
bad
weird.
way.
It's like an
Just like
underwater
I don't know what it
ranker.
is.
So you guys
underwater ranker?
You know who Thor Skywalker is?
Sounds familiar.
I've heard
Sounds
of
like
him.
a YouTuber.
I think I've seen one of his videos.
Yes, John, we did talk
You've seen
about
the
people
video of his-
complaining about it being too dark. And on my TV, it was too dark, but then when I saw it on my screen, my computer, it was fine. So Thor Skywalker posted a video about just this episode, and he touched on some things like possibilities or whatnot, and maybe it was theory, I don't remember. But they talked about like the things you fight on Force Unleashed, all kinds of different things that it could be. But one was this like security droid. I don't remember what planet he said they were used on, but it was a security droid that was like a cyborg like Grievous, but just like amped up to where all it was pretty much is a brain. But what it did was the droid's power ran on organic fuel. So like pretty much it had to get its fuel from living things, and that's how it ran. So it looked similar to what this creature was. Of course, it was definitely different.
Yeah.
But I think that's what this thing was doing. It was just trying to like suck the blood and whatnot out of Din. It looked like more than just blood because the way he didn't like hook up to a vein. Yeah. He just stabbed this thing right.
It was weird. Like it looked like it was a robot, like not a cyborg at all, except in the eye.
Yeah, but then you could like see it had this wiring of tubes and stuff around it. So I think that's what was like making it function. So I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get any kind of like any kind of backstory on this thing, but it was definitely weird.
No, probably not. We don't really like
Always
need it.
fish.
It's just never seen it before.
Yeah, it was cool though. It brought some like intense moments, and Bo fighting it was pretty sick. Man, that was like one of the best fight scenes we've seen in this show. It just showed how masterful you can be with that Darksaber. Hopefully, hopefully Din gets there.
Crazy lightsabers are good.
But yeah, the creature was done really well. So one thing I really liked about this show was the contrast between Din on Mandalore and just being like excited to be there kind of, and then Bo being there and just being like depressed based on like what the planet used to be, you know?
I like that he actually like showed he was invested, and he's like, no, like I'm going to do this, like even though you don't care at all about anything.
Well, and she stuck along too. Like I wasn't sure she was going to come here to kill him or try to kill him, you know? No. And she was here to help. So I'm very interested in what her motives are. Like, is she still hoping to challenge him for it? Because if that were the case, I feel like that would have been the opportunity to do so. I don't know. Oh, John, I thought the same thing. Did this not look like the same exact area that Kenobi was like fighting all the Mandos in the Clone Wars, where he had the Mando armor on? I mean, this looked exactly the same.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was so cool to see Mandalore in live action.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Rachel even said, she's like, it's crazy how big they made this all look. Because it really does. It looks huge. It just massive. And it looked great. I wish we could see it in actuality. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like no. Big budget movie.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be huge.
Yeah.
But
an Ahsoka like Clone Wars movie.
Oh man.
Ooh.
How good would that be? Who knows? Maybe we'll see something like that in the Ahsoka show with all her flashbacks and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, we haven't even seen the Jedi flashback for Grogu yet, which is.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna see that at some point too.
I think probably like 3 or 4 we'll see it. Well, let's see here. So Grogu. So what do we think is gonna happen next? They're on the planet.
Well,
he's gonna go to the mine.
He's at the mine. He went to the mine. He went in the living waters.
Yeah, and like.
And
now what?
Well, we'll find out. I think the story is really gonna pick up. But something else I wanted to talk to you before we finish discussing the episode in full was Bo-Katan kind of like shirking off the legitimacy of all this Mandalorian stuff. I think she's starting to realize that like the reason that his sect is living, is something we talked about last week, is because of this creed that they've stuck to. Like it's had an impact on that part of the Mandalorians growing. And
it's definitely kept them together.
It's kept them together compared to all of her Mandalorians just have fallen apart because they only follow power. And I think she's kind of starting to see the legitimacy in it. And in a way, excuse me, I'm kind of starting to see the legitimacy in it. You know what I mean? Like, a small sect of that, of a dying people, needs something to hold it together. And maybe the creed is what does that. You know, it keeps people following a set of rules and a set of unity. When people are struggling or going through something together, it creates the unity that's needed to restart civilization. So maybe she'll kind of change her tune.
Well, it's just weird too, because I mean, she was also talking about her dad and how like he was more of that thinking.
Yeah, we didn't know her dad at all in Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that, correct?
Wasn't he a diplomat?
I don't remember.
No, because her sister was the queen when we first got introduced.
Yeah,
right?
was the Duchess of Mandalore when we first got there. So I don't remember anything about him. So
yeah, something must have happened if she was the monarch at the time, I feel like.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting story. I wonder what his story is. Kree's. Yeah, I don't remember anything.
But yeah, she made it sound like she went through all the like that kind of tradition and realized it was all a bunch of hoax and whatnot.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, you know, how religion and tradition works, you know. If there's no one there left to see it, how much of it becomes legend and what actually happens. And we get to that later on, to the point where they're talking about the living waters, how it used to be, or legend says that it was a realm or a lair of the legendary beast, the mythosaur. Like, do they even believe? Does she even believe that the mythosaur was ever a thing? You know, not did they exist. Does she even believe it was ever a thing? You know what I mean? Because they said legends say that the first Mandalore, or whatever it was, the Great Mandalore, rode the mythosaur. So does she believe it's even a thing? Because that was thousands of years ago. I mean, thousands, like the old Republic.
Oh, well, did we see a scene in the trailer where that thing actually comes out of the water?
Not in the trailer, no.
Okay. So we just haven't seen that. That's not something we've seen.
No, that was first. There was like rumors that maybe we'd see a mythosaur because they're going to the living waters, but no, we haven't seen anything about it. And man, when we saw that mythosaur, I even said when they got to the waters, I was like, Rachel, maybe there's a mythosaur. Maybe there's a mythosaur. And as soon as he got pulled in, I was like, it's a mythosaur. There's going to be a mythosaur.
I was just expecting some kind of a fish.
Oh, really? No, I was pumped. And then as soon as you saw that tusk, man, I was freaking out. Because Mandalorians are my favorite like race or people. I like them more than Jedi. I love Mandalorians. Any of the books that I've read, anything. I just love reading about Mandalorians, their culture, the way that they operate, their families and stuff. But there's been some weird conversation about as to why he got sucked down. People are like, oh, he just stepped off a ledge and his armor was too heavy. I was like, what?
I like it.
Yeah, see, that confused me too. Because originally I didn't realize it looked like he got pulled down.
Yes.
Then I didn't see anything like holding on to him down there.
Right.
So I was like, well, I don't know. But she was like speeding.
Exactly. So it couldn't have been that he just like was sinking. Right.
Pulled him down.
Yeah, it could have been like something like he was sinking. Because she was going faster than you would sink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was propelled.
Yes. That's how gravity works and water resistance and stuff.
Yeah.
So something definitely grabbed him, but like it didn't seem like the mythosaur.
I think they just did it that way because it's a budget thing.
I don't know, because then that was hundreds of feet, and it had to happen fast because otherwise he would have.
I mean, the thing is huge.
Yeah, I think it had to just like grab him and throw him or something because it wasn't like trying to eat him.
It's like playing in a kiddie pool.
Yeah, that thing was huge. I knew mythosaurs were big, but like tamed and rode the thing. I mean, it's insane. It's
like, hey, Rancor, over here.
Like no,
Bend
way
over.
bigger than a Rancor.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like 10 times bigger.
Although
that thing was insane.
The one that Boba Fett had was like a baby, wasn't it?
You mean in the Star Wars Christmas special?
No, the Boba Fett show.
Oh, the Rancor? Oh,
yeah,
it's a full-grown Rancor.
I thought his was like a baby, maybe. Seems small.
Either way, like
Yeah, either way, the sea beast.
That thing's head was the size of as long as their entire body. So.
Yeah, that thing was huge.
John says maybe that's like the big daddy mythosaur. It's bigger than all the rest.
That's possible.
That'd be interesting. But the thing is, though, John, is the mythosaurs, when the Mandos were riding these things. Now, remember, these were not the human Mandalorians. These were the original race of Mandalorians. What were they called? Does anyone remember their original race?
I didn't know they had one.
Oh, jeez, David.
I don't think I did.
Original Mandalorian race.
I mean, I know the original Sith race.
They were called the Tong. They were originally from the planet of Coruscant. You haven't seen these guys before? Here, I'll share my screen with you. Share screen. There you go. Can you see this?
Are they from the game? Oh, yeah, they are from the game.
These are the original Mandalorians. They're called the Tong. And then, as their race started to dwindle, they started to recruit other races. See if I can find one. Yep, there we go. And the face of their, or the shape of their face is kind of what spurred on the helmets to look that way. See if I can find it.
And that was from the video game, right? The Old Republic video game?
I have no idea. I've read about them in books.
Really?
Mm-hmm. There you go. So yeah, this is what we know of them. And these were the ones that were riding the mythosaurs around. Oh. And maybe it's possibly the missing link of evolution. I don't know. But anyways. So those were the original Mandalorians. Aren't those the creatures in the episode last night that look similar? No, those were called Alamites or something like that. Amaleits, John. So those are different creatures. No, the Tong are fully extinct. Like that'd be crazy if we did see one, but that'd be a big reference. Like no one's familiar with those. It's a very, very niche. They look like Predator from the Alien vs. Predator, John. That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, that's the only way that they look similar. But yeah, so I don't know what exactly is going to happen from here. I mean, do you guys think that Din saw the mythosaur, or was he unconscious?
I think he's definitely unconscious.
Yeah. I mean, he was like coughing when he came up, it sounded like.
Yeah, so he probably like got like maybe 5 seconds. He's like, I got pulled in by something, and then I blacked out.
Yeah. So I wonder what is going to happen next. It's kind of tough to tell.
I think he's going to go back, and then I don't know what happens then, though.
Because right now, at this point in the story, Din doesn't have a cause.
Yeah, but he wants to go back and tell him he went in the water.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the next thing he does, or next thing he plans to do.
Yeah, and then something's going to stop him.
So is that thing that's going to stop him be Bo-Katan wanting to challenge?
Maybe. I don't know. Dude, I still think the myth. What's it called?
Mythosaur?
Mythosaur.
Yeah, I think the mythosaur is gonna pop out of the water. I think that's the next thing.
Dude, I don't think so. It's not like a predator type animal like that. I don't think.
But it's got to be like his quest, right? You got to fight a boss. Is that
well,
thing?
I do think he'll come back to it eventually, but I don't think that's going to be the next thing that he does. Like, he doesn't have a ship on him or anything right now.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, Bo-Katan goes back with him to the armor.
Here's what's going to happen.
That'd be funny if that happens.
The story's great. We're super excited. He's going to be...
And it ends?
No. They're going to be talking, and as they're about to get in their ship to fly back to Bo's castle so he can get his ship, they're going to get attacked by pirates, and he and Bo-Katan are going to have to fight pirates together.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be like those same pirates. That,
John even knew what I was saying. Yes, Davy Jones is about to show up.
Yeah.
Ruin everybody's party.
Yep.
Yes.
And spray confetti in our face.
And then you're going to see Jack Sparrow come up. I've got a jar of dirt. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. All right, I figured it out. Come back next week.
Yep. Well, come back the week after that.
Yeah.
You already know what's going to happen next week.
You can skip the next one. So, yeah.
And we're going to end the season on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
sad one.
Hey, this is one of the first times I can remember this show ending with a cliffhanger like that. I mean, this is a cliffhanger of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I was so bummed. So Rachel and I were talking or something, and I was like, "It's a mythosaur." I like missed Bo breathing or something. It's like I gotta rewind it, and then I hit unwind, and I realized there was like 3 seconds left in the episode, and I was like, "Oh no!" I had no reason I had to rewind anything, but I was just like, "Oh, bummer." So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. It's looking good.
Yeah,
we're here.
I'm glad that they've actually like started stringing together episodes.
What's that,
instead
CJ?
of having,
you cut off for a sec.
I guess they kind of did before, but
Stringing together episodes, right?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I feel like they're stringing together episodes better now, to where like they flow into each other a little bit better.
Connecting episodes is all I've ever wanted.
Yeah,
it's all I've...
actually having a plot line.
Yep.
Yeah, like you had like the fish lady and the other one, but it was like a good episode, a fine episode that was inconsequential with like another good episode, and these feel like they're both kind of important.
Plenty of time for some more of that.
But we don't need to have.
Oh no! I'm on your side.
Hopefully,
I hope so. Hopefully
get out of here.
That you've got 8 episodes. You need to make them all count, please.
Please.
Well, this one also like he doesn't have a clear overarching theme, so they can't afford to like.
Yeah.
Like if you don't do it, it really detracts more than the others because there's nothing to look forward to.
Oh yeah, especially at this point, we've got 6 episodes left, and as far as the whole story of the season, we don't know what it is. Like we just mentioned, you know.
Yeah, he's done most of what he's done.
We don't have a villain right now, unless the main villain's the pirates. Oh my gosh.
Please don't.
No, it can't be. But
get out of here.
That whole first task that was the whole reason that this season had started is done. So we've got 6 episodes pretty much to tell the whole story. So.
But now he needs to get the Mandalorians to Mandalore because
I agree.
That's what Mandalorians do is they go to Mandalore.
I do think that should be a part of this season is him telling him telling the Mandalorians. Maybe that is what it is. Hey, look, we can resettle Mandalore. It's a fine.
And then they start building basilisk war droids, and then they start plundering again.
Basilisk war droids. Yeah. John says he thinks that the only thing left from the trailers is the Order 66 scenes.
I think he goes back.
Have we seen Coruscant yet?
Back?
I believe we saw Coruscant in the trailer, right?
Yeah, we saw Coruscant in the trailer.
Yeah, so we haven't seen that yet.
Did we see scenes of him going back to the armor /
we definitely do see him.
I thought we did.
We do see him with more Mandalorians for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and we see them flying, don't we?
We saw that scene. We saw that scene already.
Okay.
That was when they fought the crocodile.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. The monster.
All right. Ratings. I say 8.5. Really good. Not a 10, but really good. Maybe 8.5 to 9.
Yeah, I'd say 8.25. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'd go 8, 7.5 to 8.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was really fun. Lots of cool stuff that was going on. Yeah, John's around 9. Yeah, nice.
Wow.
John's highest on it out of any of us. 8.9 to 9.1.
Wow.
It's very specific.
It's a solid range.
Yeah, I think we all loved it. It was good. I'm glad Mando's back for sure. All right, Bad Batch. I think that'll be all our Mando coverage for now. But Bad Batch Season 2 episode, whatever it is. What's even the name of this episode? Any of you remember?
The Outpost.
The Outpost. One of the best episodes the show's ever had, in my opinion.
That's a good one.
It was so good.
There's a lot
I thought it was really good.
Which, that's the thing. We don't have that happen a lot. A lot doesn't usually happen with these episodes.
Well, like, not that much happened as far as, like, big story points, but so much happened for Crosshair.
Character development.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy
they did a good job of maintaining tension throughout the episode.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you were invested the whole time. Never had a dull moment. The crazy thing about Crosshair is he's had the least time on the screen out of any of the characters, and he's gotten the most development and is the best character in the show.
Yeah.
Which is just nuts.
Yep.
You know?
And that's because he's actually, like, done he's changed
Yes.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Not just remained like
I mean,
the kitty attribute man.
Even the opening scene, it's been so long since we've seen him. And in the opening scene, you can just see on his face that he's just in a state of unhappiness. You know?
Yeah.
The dude just hates life. He's alone. He questions everything that he does.
Everyone just hates him.
Yeah, and he just goes about the galaxy doing the will of this empire that doesn't care about him or the clones at all. I think there's a little bit of another interesting point to Crosshair is he never cared for the clones before in the first place. You know, the regs, as they called them.
True.
But we just see Crosshair develop so much in this episode. And that freaking Lieutenant, what was his name? Lieutenant,
I tuned it out. I tuned out his name.
It was just like a regular name.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Not a very believable character, in my opinion, was like the one thing. I was like, okay, no one's going to act that.
Like, just like extra
Ridiculous.
Snobby Imperial.
I mean, like, literally his nose was turned up.
I could see it if you don't view the clones as like
People.
Actual beings. If you think they're next to droids, I could see it.
I suppose. I mean, I guess there probably were people that felt that way.
I just like, I don't know. There's a certain part about it though, like, as a man, like, if somebody does that to you for a certain amount of time, like, there's kind of an established rule of thought to where nobody's just gonna sit there and take that for like forever. Like, eventually they're just gonna be like, cool, we're gonna like do something about this.
And eventually that's what happened. Crosshair lost his crap, and he's like,
that's not like something that like, not in a free society, anyways.
Yeah. So they go to this planet with the lieutenant whining about clones being on the mission. And we find Commander Mayday, which is a very fitting name, considering that he's been asking for help and supplies and reinforcements this whole time. Pretty much just... I always thought that was hilarious how clones do this. All their names, like, match either the way they die or, like, their one defining character trait.
How they got brought into the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Nomad? John says he should be called Nomad because he looked like a nomad. Had nothing to do with traveling around, John. It was just because he was cold. He had things wrapped around his helmet.
No, it was Mayday because he knew
he was actually stuck in one place.
Yeah. He didn't nomad at all. He was staying in one spot for a year, not moving.
Just watching all his boys getting picked off.
Yeah, so they've been on this outpost for a year. The Empire says, you guys don't matter at all. Defend this valuable cargo with your life.
Oh, gosh. If I found out it was helmets, man, I would be so
Dude, yeah.
triggered.
I mean, like, you're sitting there for a year, and you're telling me not one guy goes, let's just peek in there and see what's inside of this, you know? I mean...
I'm like, I'll volunteer to be trivia.
Yeah. And just to find out it's stormtrooper armor, the armor of the crappy soldiers and their plastic armor that are coming to replace you.
Plastic armor that doesn't resist bullets?
It's literally
like, we're all dying for this?
It's like homemade fan armor for cosplay. That's why cosplay is so easy to do stormtroopers, because it's literally, you can do the same stuff they put into Star Wars on your own. It's just plastic.
I was like, did somebody
say desert? They literally call it plastoid.
It's like, does somebody say desert? No, I'm deserting.
That's a good one, David. But yeah, it was that was honestly some cool irony, though, as we see that later on. I mean, these stormtroopers are dying to protect the armor of the people that are replacing them. Unwillingly, they don't want to be replaced. You know, it's not like they're like, oh, finally, reinforcements, we don't have to fight the war anymore. It's like, this is the only thing we've known our whole lives. This is the reason we were created, and we're being pushed out of it to just go fend for ourselves now. Yeah, we talk about how, it's funny, in like the National Guard and in the Army, the recruiter's always talking about like getting skills that will transfer into the workforce when you're out. Dude, there's...
You mean the pension?
Nothing in the military transfers into the real world. Like, you get out of the military, I should say, if you're in combat arms, the only thing that it transfers to is like police
flight
work.
control.
if you're in combat arms, it's like police work. It's pretty much
yeah.
it. Or organization, like you're organized and you know how to lead people. So like management skills, things like that. But like actual skills, it doesn't usually translate. If you're in like maybe cybersecurity or intel or supply or something, where you're going to go do a job like that. But if you're in combat arms, there's nothing that applies. And these clones are like, what are we going to do after this? There's nothing for us to do. We don't have families. We have no one to go to. There's nothing.
Gotta go be farmers like the other guy.
It's honestly crazy. Bad Batch itself is not that amazing of a show. But what makes these episodes that are really good is when it calls back to the 8 seasons that we have of Clone Wars. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When it connects this show with the 8 seasons of time that we spent with these clones and the personal relationship that we spent with clones. Now, every clone's a different person, but they all feel like we've known them for so long. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think part of that, too, is because, I mean, what have they done besides that? If they're not doing that, they're either like doing some random Omega mission to like get money for random adventure. So we really haven't had a lot of additional like Empire stuff.
Yeah.
To satisfy us there.
Well, it's kind of the same conversation we have with Mando. Both these shows can hit so hard when they choose to. But they just like punt certain episodes and say, nah, we're just going to make a bad one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, just make the whole show good. Just make the whole show good.
They'll just go like half the season without talking about the universe or like doing much in the Empire.
Yeah, they just don't connect anything to the whole story.
Yeah. Just like the galaxy.
Yeah. But seeing the relationships we have with clones here is just huge. I mean, seeing Crosshair and Mayday bonding throughout the episode and just talking about how Crosshair's even saying how a dead soldier is just dead weight and not wanting to carry him around. The foreshadowing of him saying, don't let me die on your watch, you know? And then them working together and bonding and just talking about how we've given our lives to this empire for what? For why have we done it? Look at what it's done. It's done nothing, you know? And Crosshair just starts to really question his motivation for why he's chosen this path. And this empire he's been so loyal to has absolutely no loyalty to him whatsoever.
They want to kill him.
And then he does something that before this point, we never would have seen Crosshair do previously. He never would have gone back and rescued some person he just met when it endangered himself. You know what I mean? I mean, we've seen him murder people.
Or defied an order.
Yeah. We've seen him murder people just because he was told to, when it made no sense to do it. And he chooses, instead of trying to go grab the crates or whatever, he chooses to rescue this guy. Carries them night and day through the freezing cold with no protection on his head, pretty much risking dying himself. Gets back to the base for the lieutenant just to say it would be a waste of Imperial resources to bring a medic to you.
Oh. Like, look, a dead man.
There's a person I do not want to tick off. It is Crosshair.
Yeah, take off the sniper.
Yeah. Bad idea, dude. And we saw how
he knows
that
he's
happened.
a specialist. Like, I don't understand.
But we don't need to rehash the whole episode, even though we essentially did. But the thing this show just did so well, CJ, like you talked about, just having tension throughout, seeing Crosshair grow throughout the episode, and just the inner turmoil that he's dealing with, having that vulture following overhead and just that looming sense of death and finality. I felt like it really mirrored like the end coming for the clones as a whole as well, you know?
Yeah.
And Crosshair kind of just realizing that, you know?
And they just keep all like getting killed or like getting laid off.
Yeah. Well, I think he kind of saw himself in that vulture-ish thing as well, saying like, I've got to survive any way possible.
Yeah, he's like seeing everybody lose their jobs and
lose their jobs, lose their lives, everything.
Dropping like flies.
I mean, those clones, all three just died for literally no reason. It was
just because plastic.
That whole outpost.
Legos.
You see how many helmets there were?
Oh yeah.
It was like 12.
Just because the Empire chose not to help for no reason.
Yeah, for a long time.
So he passes out from exhaustion or hypothermia, whatever it may be. And he wakes up. That's at Mount Tantus, you believe? I think it has to be. Where he wakes up. Because that girl, is that a female clone? Like Omega?
I don't know. I didn't get that impression, but maybe.
Kind of sounds like Omega, in my opinion. Like, it might be voiced by the same person, but not trying to sound like a kid.
Nice try.
I don't know. But anyways, she says that if he cooperates, it was not voiced by the same person. Thanks, John. It says if he cooperates, that he may live, and that the doctors come to see him. So I believe it's the same Mount Tantus. And last we saw the doctor, he was putting out a hit on Omega. So I feel like this one's a little bit. It was another Kiwi person though, John. Okay, so this has to be a clone, another female clone. I feel like of Jango Fett. Interesting. Which I was thinking about that the other day. How does a female clone of a male specimen work? Is it a clone?
You just like flip the chromosome, right?
Oh, just flip it.
Like
yeah, you just grab the chromosome. And...
It's like carrying a 0.
I mean, if you can clone like one guy millions of times, I feel like gene editing isn't that big of a stretch.
Yeah. Gene splicing.
It'd
be a cloner thing. Well, they made him more like obedient, so they already did that.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's like,
I feel like this show's gonna be a little bit easier to predict. I wouldn't be surprised if going forward, we know that they're looking for Omega. Next episode, Omega's gonna get hunted down by some Republic commandos, and he's gonna get taken. Maybe even a bounty hunter helps. Who knows? But Omega gets taken back to Mount Tantus. We know Scorch is gonna be there. Wouldn't it be great if like the whole Republic Commando squad was there, like boss?
Delta Squad?
Yeah, Delta Squad. Oh man, I'd lose my mind. But anyways, she's gonna get taken and brought back to Mount Tantus. The Bad Batch is gonna go in to try to rescue her and see that Crosshair is there. And maybe they try to rescue him or whatever, or Crosshair breaks out or something. And one of two things is gonna happen. Tech is going to sacrifice himself to save Crosshair, or Crosshair is going to sacrifice himself to save the Bad Batch. One of the two. I'm not sure which. The reason I say Tech is Tech has gotten a lot of character development in a way. They've definitely focused on it. So it would be a meaningful death.
They're like, you need a little more screen time.
The only one I'm sure it won't be is Wrecker, which is disappointing. If I got to pick one to die, that's who it would be.
Yeah. Ugh.
So
he just doesn't ever like
add anything valuable to the show.
Dude, it's literally just like Grogu. Like,
Wrecker's
the character doesn't change at all. Like, not even remotely. Just stays dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's exactly the same as Grogu. I mean, Grogu adds some things to the show, but he's just like a pointless meathead. He just runs around, smashes things. It's like, it's like Bam Bam from Flintstones, man.
Yeah, Grogu's the same thing, but he has the Force. Like, he just doesn't have he trades character traits.
Oh, Melu, run. He's like if Zeb had like an IQ of 6. So, anyways. But yeah, it was great. I'm glad to have both shows doing so well. It almost makes me wish that they weren't on the same day.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're letting the show kind of get overshadowed by Mando. Let's spread it out. Now that the show's getting good. Like previously I was like, man, I just can't wait for Mando to come out because I'm so sick of Bad Batch. But now they're both coming out. I'm like, spread it out a little bit, you know? Let Bad Batch have its run and then go into Mando right after.
Like, this makes it easier for us to do with podcasts. It's just like spending one day watching it, like it's still fresh.
Sure.
I'd say it's better for the podcast.
Well, it works too that Bad Batch is good and worth talking about right now.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
The first, we were doing like 4 or 5 episodes at a time because there's just nothing going on. It was just like, ugh, I don't.
And even when there was, I just wasn't even watching the episodes because I was like, all right, I'm checked out already.
Yeah, just like sitting on your phone, just like,
Yep. All right, Omega's doing it again. Yeah. All right. Yep. Seen this one.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, we're getting closer to Mandalorian continuing to go forward, and what we're really getting close to is Jedi Survivor coming out shortly, about a month away.
I'm so mad that they delayed it, and now it's still like another month.
It would be about like a week away right now.
A month and a week?
I think it was March 15th is what the original plan was.
So a month and a week.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm busy right now, anyways. I'm only gonna be more busy.
I gotta
in April,
move, so.
Whatever. Oh, you're moving again? Didn't you just move in?
I did, and our landlord, he's actually selling his house because he's getting married and he's going through medical school at the same time.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and he's like my age or a little older. So.
And the guy that's moving in doesn't plan to rent.
No, he's like selling the house. He has this house, and
But that's what I'm saying. The guy that's buying the house is not going to use it as a rental property.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to stay here anyways.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's kind of older. Needs some work.
David, maybe you just buy the house.
Yeah, I'm good. It's so expensive. It's $500,000.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my room's huge, so I can understand it. Like, but
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's still crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Overpriced.
Well, this has been the Rogue Podcast. I hope you guys can all get back with us next week. I'm starting to fall asleep, so I gotta go.
I know.
But please do hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll be sure to catch you next week. If you have any questions, post them here, and I'll try to answer them next week. So long.
Force.
Oh yeah, may the force be with you.
Always.
Gotta get that in. My favorite part of the episode.